Good morning, girls. I'm Dr. Kiran Deshwal, again with a new lecture. And in this video lecture, we will read the story My Beloved Charioteer, composed by Shashi Deshpande. Before starting, let me introduce you people with our author. Shashi Deshpande is amongst the foremost Indian women writers in English today. Shashi Deshpande was born in 1938. She writes both short stories and novels about family life and women's concern in middle class Indian society. So, she writes short stories and novels, and the theme of her short stories and novels is family life and women's concern. She is a feminist writer. She writes about the issues and problems faced by women in Indian middle class India middle class society. Her work focuses the reader's attention on problems and issues that are immediately recognizable because India is a country where middle class women are educated and they face similar problems. That's why the concern which she talks about in her writing can be recognized immediately. She writes about dysfunctional families, means passive families, inactive families, embittered mother daughter relationships. If there is some tiff fight between mother daughter relationship, she talks about that. We know that she is a feminist writer and she writes about women. So she talks about mother daughter relationships, the precarious nature of love, and the inescapability of duty. She writes about the issues related to women. So women are emotional, so they fell in love, and this precarious nature of love binds them with their duty from which they can't escape. So, she talks about the inescapability of duty in marriage life. From her first novel, The Dark Holds No Terror, to Moving On, which published in 2004, and her first novel, The Dark Holds No Terror, published in 1980, Deshpande has consistently told believable tales. Her tales are believable because it generally happen in our society, and she writes in a straightforward way. She writes in a realistic mode, concentrating on a handful of characters. There are less characters in her stories and novels, and their intricate, often puzzling emotions and actions. She writes about their intricate, interwoven, too much mingled emotions which are puzzling, and their actions. Her short fiction, that is short stories written by her, there are two volumes of short stories is concerned with the same themes and issues which her novels concern. Let us talk about this story, My Beloved Charioteer. This story starts in a cozy early morning time. So our story starts in early morning time when we see a grandmother and the close bond she shares with her granddaughter. Grandmother here is for which we say in Hindi Nani. Here we have Nani, grandmother, and her granddaughter Preeti. It is apparent means clear. It is clear in the first few lines that this is a conspirational team that excludes the mother. So here we have three female figures: grandmother, grandmother's daughter, and daughter's daughter. So here we have three generations also, and it is clear in the first few lines that this is a conspirational team that excludes the mother. So we can understand that this story depicts the bond between Preeti and her grandmother. The rest of the story examines and evaluates the relationship between the widowed old lady and her daughter Aarti. So we have two widow women here. Here in this story we have two widows, Aarti and her mother. Okay, Aarti and her mother are widows, and Preeti is Aarti's daughter, who nurses a grudge against the world for. So Aarti nurtures a hatred against the world. She hates the world, also recently widowed. Her husband died recently. Aarti's husband dies recently. She cannot bear to see other people's lives going on in relative happiness. So she she had lost her husband, and she is unable to bear that reality. That's why she is unable to see other people's lives going on in relative happiness. Aarti prefers to live in a daze, lost in memories of her happy companionable marriage and the close relationship she shared with her father. So, she prefers to live in a daze, lost in memories of her happy companionable marriage. She always keeps on remembering her married life and the close relationship she shared with her father. Her relationship with her mother has always been perfunctory and distant, and Deshpande uses this device to examine the many relationships within the story. Her Aarti's relationship with her mother is very mechanical, it's very formal. There is no affection, there is no uh, they are not so close that they can share their grief or their feelings. The two mother daughter relations we have in this story, Aarti and Aarti's daughter Preeti, grandmother and grandmother's daughter Aarti. The two marriages here we have the marriage of Aarti's mother and the marriage of Aarti. The grandmother's bond with Preeti, this is the other factor of this story, other aspect of this story. The last relationship is what finally becomes pivotal in breaking the deadlock. The last relationship, which is grandmother's and Preeti's relationship, is the major relationship which breaks the deadlock, which works as a breaker within the family when the grandmother is spurred on to demonstrate to Aarti the necessity of letting people go by revealing the facts of her stifling marriage. Grandmother's marriage was stifling with her husband. She was not somehow happy. She always felt suffocated. So she invokes Aarti to let the painful moment go. She wants to teach her daughter that you should live your life happily again. You are ruining or destroying your life in the memories of your husband and your father. You are wasting your life in the memories of those who are not alive. In this way, you are ignoring the alive people. So, you should learn to live in coexistence with love and affection with the people who cares for you. Indirectly, she wants to say that Aarti should forget her father and her husband because they are no more. They have passed away. They are not in this world. and she should pay attention on the happiness of Preeti and her mother. So we will see in our next video what happens in the story. Thanks for watching.